Great. Good morning, everyone. It's very lovely to see all of you here today. It's a very lovely turnout. We expected at least 5 people, but this is a great surprise. So thank you for coming out in such large numbers. My name is Donna Vuma, and I'm the project coordinator of the Migrant Victim Support Project that we are launching here today. The project is supported by the Department of Justice. I want to say thank you to everyone that's joining us as well through Facebook and YouTube. No, through the Facebook. Sorry, my bad. And also a very big thank you to Armston House for facilitating us here today. We're really glad to be back in this amazing space. And we're here today to launch the Doras Migrant Victim Support Project. The initiative is the first of its kind in Ireland and is a response to the growing demand to meet the complex and growing needs of migrant and refugee victims of crime. At Doras, our mission is to protect and uphold the human rights and well-being of migrants through personal advocacy, integration development, and collaborative advocacy campaigns at local and national level. Our direct support services are available to all migrants, no matter what their status or situation is. Naturally, such supports include victim support, especially in cases of domestic, sexual, and gender-based violence, human trafficking, and hate crime. Migrant victims of crime face unique barriers to justice. Immigration status has been found to have an impact on survivors' help-seeking behavior. Victims often fear that reporting crime to law enforcement and working with the justice system, the criminal justice system, will expose them to deportations. Similarly, these victims fear that access to traditional victim support systems may result in negative consequences. These barriers may include, but are not limited to, English proficiency, immigration status and their children's immigration status, and issues related to economic dependency on the perpetrator, amongst others. Another major barrier is that service providers have limited resources and skills to appropriately respond to migrant victims or survivors' unique needs. As an organization, we recognize the need for a national multidisciplinary victim support that focuses on migrants and refugees. Even more so since being a refugee within itself is considered to be a risk factor. The recently launched Third National Domestic Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Strategy highlights that risk groups were identified as including individuals with disabilities, international protection applicants, individuals living in direct provision, trafficked persons, women being ticketed for prostitution from direct provision centers, as well as travelers, Roma, members of the LGBTI+ community. Meeting intersectional needs of these different groups is a challenge that requires organizations and individuals from diverse backgrounds to band together to become more knowledgeable about the barriers that these groups face. As part of this project, we shall seek to improve the community's cultural understanding and sensitivity toward the unique needs of migrant victims, refugees, and international protection applicants, as this is critical in making services accessible to them. This includes offering services with cultural humanity, improving community outreach, and ensuring that services are accessible in different languages and in culturally appropriate ways. It is also vital that we recognize and understand culture as an asset and not a barrier. The Migrant Victim Support will adopt a holistic, victim-centered, multi-agency approach. This, in turn, means that we can provide specialist information and support to victims. It means we can help victims navigate the criminal justice system, and we can make sure that the victim's voice is heard when dealing with other organizations and agencies. Some of the initiatives that we'll be taking include providing free legal information in multiple languages, including redress options, and accompaniment when it comes to victims reporting crimes. We'll also be working with key stakeholders, and I'm delighted to see so many of the representatives from different bodies here today, and to provide those specialized and psychosocial supports for victims of crime. This is something that we hope will serve to improve the victims' or survivors' mental health in both the short and long term. Most importantly, the support offered by us will not be limited to a specific time of day. We are also launching a dedicated helpline where we'll be reachable 24/7, ensuring that victims are able to reach us whenever they need us, be it 3 a.m. in the morning or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. In this way, we'll ensure that victims have resource possibilities whenever a crime takes place, which will in turn lead to a better and more accessible system of support. The Migrant Victims of Crime Helpline will provide confidential listening and support service for victims of crime, no matter when the crime happened. It will also provide information about crime victims' rights and specialist services for victims of particular crimes such as domestic violence, sexual abuse, and human trafficking. On the helpline, we can be reached by clients, included but not limited to those that are in crisis and needing urgent advice or help. Clients that are not able to access Doras physically due to geographical locations or other factors. On the helpline, we'll be able to listen with empathy and without judgment, and we can provide time and space for the victim to talk about their experience in confidence. You might wonder at this point why we are going that extra mile. Well, mostly it's because we have taken the time to understand and listen to potential victims and those that have been victims of crime in Ireland. In a recent survey study that we did with over 300 participants, some of our biggest responses that we were getting from the participants was that they had no knowledge of their rights and entitlements. They were afraid to avail themselves to the authorities in cases where a crime has happened due to their immigration status and also due to fear of the perpetrator. So we have taken all of that into consideration when we designed this program. And also it's because the statistics are alarming. Amongst other things, the third National Domestic Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Strategy states that out of approximately 1 million people in Europe involved in prostitution, the vast majority are migrants. Moreover, about 1 in 7 are victims of human trafficking, amounting to right around 140,000 women. We want to be there for people when they need us the most. We want to be able to help them. And in my view, this project will be doing just that. Make no mistake about it, this is only just the start. Moving forward, our intention is to continue increasing our support services for victims and migrants alike. And therefore, it is our pleasure to launch this project today. We hope that it will lead to a change in overall mentality within the community, within the service providers. I'm going to hand over to Jane, our support worker, who will tell you a little bit about our outreach plans.
Perfect, thank you, Donna, for that.
Yeah.
So as Donna said, I'll be the Migrant Victim Support Officer. We have done some work already, and just to give you a little insight to that, we've been working with people who have been physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and even racially motivated hate crimes. As Donna said, this is just the start of a bigger picture, and we will be conducting outreach across Ireland, so keep an eye on our Facebook, our website, and see if we're coming to a direct provision centre near you. Because of the way the centres are laid out, a lot of them are isolated. People don't know that we're here, they don't know how to get to us, so we're going to make that easier and go to them. So we really do, please share it on your social media. If you think anybody would benefit from our service, please send them our way. Our number, our email address is everywhere now, and we'll be outlining our outreach plan in the coming weeks, a bit more detailed and giving you an exact itinerary of where we're going to be.
Thank you, Jane. And at this moment, I would like to invite John Lannon, our CEO, to come and officially launch the project.
Thank you.
Thanks Donna and Jane, and thanks to all of you for coming along today as well. It's wonderful to see so many rights holders, so many service providers here with us today as we launch this. As Donna and Jane both said, this is just the start of something. But having said that, Doras has been around for the last 22 years. We were set up in 2000. We've been helping people, we've been providing information to people from a refugee and migrant background for all of that time. We do see about 2,000 people a year. Actually, that doesn't include all of the people who are now using our online education platform, SARED, so we're probably in direct contact with several thousand more people as well through that platform. But over the course of the 22 years, we've already been supporting a lot of people who are victims of domestic, sexual, gender-based violence, who are victims of trafficking, who have experienced racism, who have experienced discrimination, or who have been victims of hate crimes. So in the course of those many years, we've provided information on victims' rights to people. We've provided support around redress options. We've referred people to relevant agencies. One that comes to mind, for example, is the wonderful Dept services here in Limerick that we're regularly engaging with in terms of referrals. We're helping people report crimes to the Gardaí. We've even at times accompanied people to court, but now we want to put this on a more structured and a more sustainable footing, and delighted that we're able to do that. You know, we know that very often people who are already marginalised, who are excluded from society, and particularly thinking about people who are forced to live in direct provision, find it really difficult to get access to the supports and the services that they need. You know, they also find it difficult to get access to justice in many cases, and this is where we come in. We want, as I said, to put our migrant victim support work on a more structured and more sustainable footing. This project allows us to do that, and it enables us to expand and to consolidate our work in many respects in this area. As Donna said, there are a whole range of barriers that asylum seekers, refugees, migrants face when it comes to getting the supports that they need, when it comes to the getting access to justice. There are language and cultural barriers, limited knowledge or training on the part of the service providers and duty bearers, discrimination. There are often immigration or asylum issues that complicate matters for people, fear, past experiences with authorities, and just a lack of information, a lack of knowledge of what people's rights are. And we're going to be covering all of that. It's an ambitious project, there's a lot of work to do, but we think we're up to it. We're delighted to have Donna and Jane working on this project. The gap, as I said, and the need for this has been evident from our work over the last many years in Doras, because you know, and right now we're delighted with the support of the Department of Justice to do this, to get it off the ground. I would like just to refer as well to another important instrument that underpins what we're doing as well. It's the EU Victims Directive. Article 22 on this, which is particularly relevant to our work, says the following. I want to quote it. Member States shall ensure that victims receive a timely and individual assessment in accordance with national procedures, to identify specific protection needs and to determine whether and to what extent they will benefit from special measures in the course of criminal proceedings, due to their particular vulnerability to secondary and repeat victimisation, to intimidation and to retaliation. So this is the basis for our new migrant support work for our project. As I said, we're grateful for the support to be able to get this up off the ground. We are going to be busy. As James said, we're already supporting a number of people. You know, and we plans to do quite a bit. You know, there will be individual needs assessments, safety care plans, provide legal information, outreach, targeted awareness raising, lots more. So Over the remainder of 2022, we're going to be developing this, bedding it in, ensuring that we've got mechanisms, we've got processes, procedures that work well, in particular that work for victims of crime, for rights holders who need access to supports and justice. We'll be working to try to overcome the barriers that are faced by asylum seekers, by refugees, by migrants as they are trying to navigate the systems here and the processes that should be more accessible and should be easy to them. And you know, as I've said, we're already up and running in many respects. We've been doing this for the last 22 years in a less kind of structured fashion. We're going to continue now, and I'm just delighted that we're launching this project formally today, and that we have, I hope, the support of all of you who are here to do this, whatever your role is, and I'm sure we will be in touch with many of you over the coming weeks and months. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, John, and once again, thank you so much to all of you for being here today. I would like to extend the invitation again to get in touch with us, talk to us about the services that you have to offer specifically to migrant victims of crime. We should start to have those conversations in terms of how we work together going forward to support people who have been victims through their journey to being survivors. I also want to bring your attention to some information booklets that have been developed around human trafficking, gender-based violence, and rights and entitlements of migrant victims of crime. So please feel free to take some with you, and also to extend an invitation or a welcome to those who have been victims of crime to come and talk to us, and we can see how we can best support you through your journey of recovery. We have teas and coffees and a wonderful spread of pastries over there, so please feel free to help yourself to that and have a chat with us. Thank you.